the fact that they do have all that support from within the valley because of a lot of alumni live here,
Mhm.
and the fact that they have so they've recruited the valley so hard, and so many of the kids went up there, they'll have a lot of support in all likelihood on Thursday when they come into Tempe. um, you're right. They have done a good job recruiting the state, and they've also gone about recruiting some better athletes, some kind of the way ASU has with some of the some bigger kids. Certainly, they don't. At some positions, they do not look like a Big Sky team. They look like a legit, Division I team. Maybe not Power Five, but certainly somebody who can be certainly a team that can be competitive. And as it always does, it starts with the quarterback position. It looks like it's going to be R.J. Martinez, whose first start was that that win over U of A last year. He should start the game, at least initially. He's a nice dual threat player.
Mhm.
Somebody who is, you know, was their second leading rusher last year, if you can
Mhm.
believe that. 286 rushing yards and 5 touchdowns to go along with 1,713 yards and 14 touchdowns against just 2 interceptions last year through the air. So he's somebody who takes care of the ball. But definitely a serviceable player and someone who he's only I think he's only like a redshirt freshman or sophomore. So he
Is a
should get
sophomore.
better. But then they went out and recruited Angel Flores from Casa Grande High School, who took Casa Grande to the 4A state title last year. He put up some nice numbers and has had a great camp. And certainly somebody that I think we will see at some point on Thursday. Um, assuming Martinez struggles like he very well could.
Yeah.
So
I had dads calling me up from that program going, "You got to see this kid, this quarterback." And then you got to see him in the on the on TV and in the playoffs last year, and he fit. He was everything everybody said, and he really was the reason why they won that title.
yeah,
He was
he should
incredible.
be fun to watch. Casa Grande, not necessarily known as like a football powerhouse, but I mean, you
Uh,
get the right quarterback in there who can make things happen, and he certainly did for them last year and earned his way onto NAU. So he's already turned a lot of heads in fall camp.
mhm.
So should be interesting to watch. I think we will see him at some point on Thursday. And then the focal point of the offense is running back Kevin Daniels. Had a nice year last year, 1,146 yards and 7 touchdowns on the ground, go along with 25 receptions, 141 yards through the air. So a guy that they're a run first team. They're going to run with him quite a bit. So definitely got to be a focal point for the defense to shut him down to kind of get this offense out of their comfort zone. And then
This
he's going to be running behind a couple guys in Oklahoma transfer Noah Nelson, who was an ASU target once upon a time, and preseason All Big Sky lineman Jonas Leader as well. So it starts and ends up front with this team and their running game.
Noah's a big guy.
Well, yeah, he's an
Yeah,
Oklahoma transfer. Of course he
he's
is.
and I guess he just really wanted to play. He go to NAU. This was his school. A lot of kids just like the being up in the mountains.
Yeah,
Up in,
Flagstaff, nice little
well,
town. I mean,
and you get
be a nice place to go to college, I think.
get Four Seasons. Yeah, a lot more diverse than Oklahoma. That's for sure.
Yeah, right. Um, so wide receiver and then wide receiver Coleman Owen was a big target for them last year. He was, had 18 more receptions than the next closest receiver, and with 43 for 712 yards and 6 touchdowns. And then a guy that they're very excited about, Troy Pentaway, the UMass transfer, didn't put up a ton of numbers for the Minutemen, but still somebody who fits well into this offense and somebody they're very excited about. And
Hmm.
then on defense, this is not a team this is a team that struggled on the defensive side of the ball last year. But they do have two brothers, in Eloy and Cosmas Quetty, a couple of outside guys who combined for 6 sacks last year. They're still guys that you're going to have to get after. I know that they lost their best defensive player from last year was his name's one of their better defensive players last year. Their leader in sacks, Carson Taylor, who graduated but they still have another preseason All Big Sky safety in Morgan Vest, who looks like
Right.
he's going to be the kind of the quarterback of the defense. Had 104 tackles for the Lumberjacks last year, and just a guy who's just gets after it. You'll see him all over the field, and he had 5 interceptions as well. Definitely a guy that you got to know where he is pre-snap, because odds are he's going to be involved in the play.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that'll do it for NAU preview. And now on to our season predictions presented by the Valley Athletic Booster Club. You want to check out vabc.com. And for this year, we've got to start with our offensive and defensive MVPs. John, who are yours?
It's hard to call them MVPs until you played, but in my mind, the guys who are
Well, that's why it's
positioned.
called a prediction, isn't it?
It's a prediction. It's the guys who based on everything that's going on to this point, have the best chance of leading the team offensively and defensively. And I chose Emery just because of the fact that he's a leader and he's got the right skill set, but we haven't had this kind of leader in a long time. And being in a huddle means something. It's well suited for him. But he barks. He's talking to everybody. He's putting people in the right spot. He's very vocal, and
and some would argue that was Manny Wilkins' biggest attribute, was that he was such a good leader.
No, it's how he kept the job. There was guys who had more skill, had a bigger skill set, but he just had the ability to get people lined up and could run the offense.
Get it done.
And then Merlin is, I've struggled with this, because I really wanted to pick your guy, Kyle Soley, just because I know by design he will have more tackles. But I think Merlin, I go back to to last year having a touchdown taken away from him. Being ran down from behind in the BYU game.
Yep.
I think that's the kind of plays you're going to see more of from Merlin this year. Big play.
Well, and then he had that pick 6 to kind of seal the game against Washington as well.
Washington, yeah, the pick 6. So he's trimmed down, but he's stronger and more explosive than he's ever been.
I almost didn't recognize him when I went to camp with you, when I went to practice with you.
He looks like a boxer.
He looks the part. He looks like a big time linebacker. He looks like an NFL safety, to be honest. That's kind of what he looks like. I'm definitely looking forward to some nice things out of him. For me, another newcomer, Xavier Valade. Of course, coming from Wyoming, putting up some nice numbers. Definitely looking forward to a bunch of these in the stands come Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
I like what I've seen out of him. Everybody raves about the kid. Nothing but good things to say as far as his attitude and desire. And then he's got the athleticism, I think, to be a big play performer at that running back spot. And he's going to get opportunities. He's going to get a ton of opportunities to carry the ball in this offense. I absolutely think he's going to be my MVP. And then, of course, you mentioned Kyle Soley, the quarterback of the defense. Definitely somebody that, the guy just goes out there and gets it done. He's always lined up. He's always where he's supposed to be. Doesn't miss assignments. Just doesn't blow coverages. Very rarely will miss a tackle or over pursue a play. Just a smart football player who's always where he's supposed to be.
And the coverage
just goes out there and gets it done. He's not flashy necessarily. He won't put up a ton of big numbers outside of his tackles, but still somebody that is very, very fun to watch. And as he goes, the rest of the defense goes.
Yeah, he's a field coach.
Yes.
Literally,
gets guys lined up right. Totally.
Antonio Pierce could literally walk away from practice at times for good periods of time. And Kyle Soley ran the practice, because he knew exactly where everybody should line up, what the responsibilities were, what the technique was. So that speaks volumes.
John, you got to show him our MVPs in action, though.
I'm sorry?
Got to show our MVPs in action.
I do.
There they are. There's yours. There's your guys, Emory Jones and Merlin Robertson. And, of course, mine, Xavier Valladay, and Kyle Soling. Now moving on to our breakout players, the newcomers, the guys who we think have kind of risen through the ranks and are going to be going to make a big impact on this season.
Yeah, I mean, you can't take your eyes off of Messiah Swinson, what he does out there. And what I really liked about this fall camp was there was a period of time where they put him down with the twos, just to make him want it.
Keep him humble.
Keep him humble, you bet. And every time they would do that, he would just, it was clear he needed to be right back up with the ones again.
Yeah.
But he has a huge catch range, big vertical. He just makes.
He's going to be a red zone target. They're going to look for him in the red. They're going to run plays for him in the red zone.
It's the biggest. Yeah, the biggest mismatch in football is a 6'7" tight end with a 5'10" safety. That's why you want big safeties if you can find them. They're rare as hen's teeth. But Connor
especially in the Pac-12.
I agree. Yeah, I'm tired of having SC have all the big tall safeties. By the way,
and we got a couple on our team this year.
We do. Yeah, we do. We looked the part, and then obviously Connor is. Folks, you're not gonna. He's gonna make plays whether he's playing the boundary side or the field side, because he's so smart, and the fact that he has his brother out there to communicate with him. They talk all the time about stuff. They hold each other accountable. But what a great story that is to have. We have two sets of brothers, the Markham brothers and the Soli brothers, and but it's especially fun for me because I've known both these guys since they were freshmen at Saguaro, and great kids, great attitude, great family. But it's so nice to see a kid who has just come along and stuck with the program, and he's
an athletic freak, and now
he's going
to get his opportunities this year as a starting linebacker.
He was a safety that just kept getting bigger. I mean, when you look at his quads, these things are huge. They're big old quads.
You have such a man crush.
No, dude. I asked, what are you squatting these days? And it's just ridiculous. He's squatting defensive lineman kinds of numbers.
Nice.
So, but he's explosive. I love guys who. The key to me to linebackers is those first couple. If you're not staying home and you have to drop, or you're supposed to go to the sideline, he does it as good as anybody I've seen on this team so far. So I expect big things from him this year.
Nice. Now, my breakout players, obviously, we've seen flashes from him last year. Elijah Badger, I think he puts it all together this year and becomes kind of a go-to target for Emory Jones. We've seen what he looks like when he gets the ball in his hands. If they can just do that on a consistent basis, and he improves as a route runner, I think the sky's the limit for this kid. I think he's got the athleticism and the speed to be another Ayuk or N'Keal Harry as far as being a go-to impact receiver. And then on defense, to me, a guy like Omar Norman Lott, who's looked the part, he's got all the skills. He's got the motor, the moves, the athleticism, the speed. You put it all together, and this guy has got a chance to be a big-time player on the inside of that D line. And I'm looking for big things out of him. I love his game. I have since he set foot on campus, and I can't wait to watch him set foot on his field this year.
And remember, he put himself in the portal, and
that's right.
Took a look around, and I guess he just didn't like the quality of the programs who were offering, or he likes it here.
All the more reason to go out there and ball out and show other teams what they missed out on. So,
well, I think he figured out that he really does have a home here and a position here that's his. He just needed to clean up a few things. But he's a really dynamic player, folks. And keep your eye on him. He's a blast.
Can't wait. Number 55. He's easy to spot.
55.
So our season predictions this year. I'm John's a little bit more optimistic than me, more often than not when it comes to this team. But we're pretty set. We kind of think that there are some very winnable games out there, and then we're kind of realistic on some others as far as what the team looks like and how they match up. Just even from a athletic standpoint, and from a I guess you call it, I don't want to say a class standpoint, but just a class of athlete that they're facing with some of these teams, it's going to be a little bit tough to overcome.
No, I could, I'm obviously very optimistic based on the fact that I've seen so much of what they've done in practice, and I've just seen that we're a better team. Now, I'm not talking about, yes, individuals, fine. We have better individuals, better rooms, but but as a team, in terms of their tightness, their bonding, their ability to shut out the noise and just focus, is the best I've seen in Herm's era. Herm's time here.
And that could, and if, if they can keep the penalties down and cut down on the turnovers, they got a chance to win some games that maybe they're not, quote unquote, supposed to. So, that's that. I think that's worth something. And I'm cautiously optimistic about this season. And some of the players that they lost, I feel like, that they just got outbid for, basically. And some of the distractions in this program have been unfortunate, but the fact that they've kind of closed ranks, circled the wagons, and kind of become more close knit as a team, I think could carry them to some upset wins this year. So I say 7-5, but I still think that there's a chance it could certainly be a game or two better.
8-4 gets you to a pretty good bowl, and
maybe back to Vegas again.
We had a good time.
We did.
But no, I think that we can. It's that second half of the season where I think we really could reel off a bunch of games, and that's 6 games. When I look at that, I go, most of those games, based on what we saw last year, in terms of what they brought in, we should be in the mix for those last 6 games. So that's why I'm bullish, because I just think we could get some real momentum going.
I'll just finish with half. Yeah, and I think that's kind of where they'll make up some ground. Just speaking on the first 5 games, when you got those 3 right. tough games against the top 15 opponents. Teams, yeah. Oklahoma State, Utah, and USC in the first 5 weeks of the season. That's a tough draw. No way around it. But if they can win just one of those games, and then finish strong in the second half of the season, I'd actually consider this that they've exceeded expectations.
Yeah, like I say, I think I said at the beginning of the show, if you can find a way to beat Oklahoma State through a defensive effort and hang around and win it in the fourth quarter, low scoring game like a Michigan State win, like our 2 Michigan State wins, that changes everything. And in fact, I've been challenging all these naysayers who say, Herm needs to go, Ray needs to go, Dr. Crow needs to go, the program's a mess. And I say, what happens if we beat Oklahoma State? I challenged, and you have to ask yourself, because it won't be a fluke. It'll be by design, and it'll be because we will control the line of scrimmage, and we have that opportunity. So I'm not. Listen, the one thing that another team can never dictate, they can be bigger, stronger, faster. The one thing they can never dictate is your intensity and your focus, and your staying tight with the guy next to you, loving the guy next to you, and having his back. They cannot dictate your intensity, and that's your ability to stay together during tough times. So that's something that I always take heart in sports. You may have the most physical team, you may have the most talented team, but we're a better team, and there's every bit.
And I think that I like Jaden Daniels. I appreciate his time here, but he was not the best locker room guy. Wasn't the best leader. I think it's kind of an addition by subtraction, kind of getting him off the roster. And I hate to say that, because I appreciate his time here, but the fact of the matter is the team didn't really rally around him. They didn't play for him, I feel like, enough. I feel like they'll play for Emory Jones.
Yes. You can see it in the way they block for him. You can see it in the way they, guys will dig,
Yeah.
Dig out a ball and catch a ball that wouldn't have been caught normally. It's just, I don't know.
Like Pacino on any given Sunday, guys will
right.
break their backs and their necks for you.
That's right.
That's those are the kinds of teammates you want. So
Yep.
Hopefully they're willing to do something like that for Emory Jones, because at times it didn't look like they wanted to do that for Jaden Daniels.
I told you a couple months ago, I went out to lunch with Kyle Soley, and he said, our attitude is we know we're good, and we're just going to circle the wagons, and we're going to say screw you you non-believers.
Only people that matter are here in this locker room.
That's right. So and
they
have a really solid sense of themselves, and they ain't scared. I'll tell you that. So
so that'll do it for our season predictions presented by the Valley Athletic Booster Club. Of course, we're going to have a score prediction for Week 1. I think the Devils will come out, and I'd like to see them win by a minimum of 21 points. I've always said that in openers. I feel like 21 points sets a good mark. You were productive on offense. Yeah, the defense maybe wasn't where you'd like it to be, but there's room for improvement. I think the Devils win going away 38-17.
Yeah, we're close. You have 2 scores.
Yeah, I think NAU may get a garbage touchdown late, just against some of the second and third teams.
Sure, could happen.
But I still say the Devils win by 21 or more.
Yeah, I have them winning by 25, which is pretty close. I think the spread is like 25, 24 and a half right now. But let's.
It was like 27 and a half.
Was it? Okay. Yeah, at one time I know it was like 24, 20, 25. But no, we've got. It's not quite the 40 that Herm would like us to be at, but we're still learning how to play with each other. We haven't played together yet. But the ability to go out and hit somebody else besides your own team, this is a great exercise, a great opponent to get, very good opponent to get us tuned up for what's going to be a big road trip.
Kind of a lower level, some mid to lower level team within their own conference. Somebody local that you're going to get a lot of people coming out to see some of their like guys from their high school they supported and whatnot. So it should be a good crowd for an opener, and one that I think we've all been looking forward to for a while. Just if we can get some of these questions answered as far as who this team is going to be, what they're going to look like, and maybe even what they can be going forward through this 2022 season.
I'd like to see us get out to a really good start so that we can play some 2s and 3s in the second half, and keep developing some of these young players, because we've got an awful lot of them that we need to keep that in mind. So I think that's the game plan.
Like to see some of the young guys get in, because you may not see them the rest of the year.
That's right.
To be honest. So that'll do it for us here on RWD. Thank you for joining us for our season preview. A game, of course, this coming Thursday, 7 p.m. kickoff time, Arizona, on Pac-12 Network. And we'll certainly be out there. Hope to see you. And tune in next week as we'll recap this game and preview Devils' big matchup in Stillwater against the Oklahoma State Cowboys. So for Big John Caldwell, I'm the RyKno Ryan Knowles. We say goodnight. Go Devils. Forks up. Beat the Jacks.
Beat the Jacks. Go Devils.